Let's take some more nth roots. Let's do part A, the cube root, which means the third root of 125. Now just remember that when you're taking an odd index root like we're doing for the first one, part A, it doesn't matter if the radicand, the stuff under the radical sign, is positive or negative, and it doesn't matter if the answer is positive or negative, so it's very loose. Part A, the cube root of 125, I claim it's equal to 5. And I'll prove it. That's because when you take my answer and you raise it to the power of the index, which is 3, that means multiply it by itself 3 different times, 5 times 5 times 5, you get it equal to 125, which is my radicand, the stuff under the radical sign. So my 5 was a good solution. Now we're going to take the cube root, the third root of negative 1a. Now normally I would be unhappy about a negative radicand under the radical sign, but I'm not unhappy when I have an odd index root. It's only when I have an even index root. So let's go ahead and find the number whose third power equals negative 1/8, and the answer is negative 1 over 2. And that's true because if you take my negative 1 over 2 in parentheses and you raise it to the power of the index 3, it gives you negative 1/2 times itself, 3 different factors. You multiply that and you end up getting a negative sign because of the 3 negatives that are multiplying each other. 2 of them cancel out and make a positive, and the last one multiplies the positive and makes it a negative. And then the 1 on the top and the 8 on the bottom. So my answer is good because when you raise it to the power of the index, it gives you exactly negative 1/8. That's the value of the radicand. And finally, part C, a negative sign on the outside, it's a hitchhiker, the fourth root of 256. Now be careful, this is an even index root. It's a fourth root now. So we know that we have to make sure our radicand is non-negative, and that's true. 256 is positive, we're good. And also the solution has to be positive. But of course there's a hitchhiker outside, so that could change that at the very end. So this is equal to a negative sign on the outside, fourth root of 256. And I say the answer is negative 4. Okay, it's okay that it's negative because that was just a hitchhiker. Let's check my answer. Well, I know that if I raise 4 to the fourth power, I get 4 times 4 times 4, which turns out to, and another times 4, which turns out to be 256. So that is a good solution, and the negative sign came along as a hitchhiker on the outside.